I have the privilege of being on the rating panel of ReportWatch.net. ReportWatch.net publishes for the last 16 years an annual global annual report rating titled Annual Report on Annual Reports. While I have been on that particular panel, my first interaction with them was when I wanted 2 of our annual reports to be sent for nomination, and their deadline suggested that we are slightly late. I was asking for an extension, and in came the reply that Indian companies are making global headlines, Indian annual reports are not. So we are more than happy to be extending you this particular window. That was it. After that, I was invited, the kind of work which I did, I was invited to be on the rating panel. I have been seeing world's top-rated annual reports from the filter of annual report and annual reports. In the first part of my presentation, I am going to be sharing with you what makes those annual reports which rate very, very high. I would like to ask a question to you. What goes into the making of those annual reports which rate very, very high when they rate? Broadly speaking, one, there is earnestness in the way they share their story. There would be, this annual report would give you insights into the way they think. It would be about credibility. You will find them credible in terms of the way they would be doing their self-appraisal of their business, and you would come across sincerity and sensitivity in their vision for the future. They would mostly be annual reports from the company which would be considered to be very responsible. So this is something which I have observed in top 50 reports which I have rated over the last 2 years, 2011 and 2010. But this small summary I would like to get into, I am sharing with you with a hope that something from this particular thing, the presentation which I am sharing with you, you would be able to take and you would be able to incorporate some of these aspects and improve your annual report. I am looking forward to see some of those annual reports rating high on this particular platform. The reference point is annual report on annual reports. There are 10 broad parameters on which an annual report is being rated. Number 1, packaging. What all do we consider in packaging? How does the cover look? How well optimized your covers are? When we look at cover, we don't look at cover, just the front cover, we look at the 4 phases of cover and how well optimized that particular covers are is what we look at. Shankar talked about the length of annual report, how much is too much and how much is too little. Ideally, 120 to 150 pages is what we look at. That shall be the standard length. Anything beyond that is not appreciated. What is the format of the report? Which format are you going to be presenting your annual report at? Are you still going year after year in terms of presenting it as a book? Or you are innovating, you are doing some landscape instead of portrait? Are you doing something which is interactive? Are you doing something which is in the format of a magazine or not? Is what we look at. Then one aspect is theme. How good theme is. Same here we look at one more aspect, which is, are you using your annual report as extension of your brand? Is it something that is carrying your brand or your business or not? I would like to share with you, when I am talking about the format, this is a report which we have done for HT Media. This particular report was printed as a 3 years ago when we were looking at experimented. In HT Media, we have got a very, very open and very, very participative client. It was something where it is meeting the regulations. When you're looking at all those prospects, from there it was not, all those perspectives, from there it was not possible. This particular report, when we did, I was confident that when I'm sending this particular report to annual report and annual reports, for the format, if nothing else, for the format, this would have got a very strong chance of getting in. This report made us win win the first laurel which we have earned. When we are talking of packaging, I'm just sharing with you, this is the annual report which I received from a Hong Kong-based company which Shankar was referring about, CLP Holdings. When I received this, and there was an instruction manual. From that instruction manual, I was following. It is what it is that use this for use and reuse this and try saving the world from use of plastic. So this converted as a shopping bag. Now with this particular shopping bag, when they were sending a message also. We are trying to do similar things when we print our annual reports. Some of our annual reports are printed and we have got FCS certificate and we say that we are concerned about the environment. Now these are kind of examples. I come across many of them in my library. I have some of the solutions which I have brought here for you people to be referring to. First part is packaging. When we are looking at brand vehicles, I would like to share with you a couple of examples. One I showed you. HT Media. HT Media report gets rated because this is a very natural extension of the business which they are in. With more than 90% of revenues coming from print, working as a newspaper is something which works in their favor. Second example which I am throwing here is about a company which is into food inputs, agricultural inputs. And the third one is my favorite, and this particular company continues throwing annual reports year after year after year. There would be some amount of consistency, some amount of predictability now in terms of they will be throwing a very, very good annual report year after year after year. Yet, when it is predictability and a very good report, I still eagerly wait to look at what new are they going to be doing when they are going to be releasing the next year's report. The company is Bengaluru. This is a leading brick maker from Europe. Now, from the cover, we are looking at how do we take this particular thing forward to a good concept. The perspective when we are looking at concept, one aspect which we keep wondering that how deep the concept would be, where the concept begins, where the theme begins, and where the theme ends. A good theme would be like if you have got a setup here, we have got our own color is orange. If our own color is orange, we are looking at to what extent it's going to be orange. So our business card would be orange. You will be seeing the orange at the welcome standing. You will be seeing little bit of orange over here. You will be seeing orange over there. It is not orange, 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 but it's a very judicious use of orange consistently from across the entire setup. So a good theme would always be working like a thread which will bind the annual report from front cover to the last cover. From that perspective, I am presenting this whenever the cover says we can't stand this much longer. We can't stand this much longer. This obviously reflects that this was a report which was done after a difficult day. First page the one zero was uncomfortable. Next page you spread and then it reads, but we took an example from our bricks. They are tough, adaptable, and can stand long. Then you, as you go into next 16, 18, 20 odd pages, they have used very nice visual formation with photographs, and they have highlighted their EBITDAs, their different performance metrics, how they have performed in this particular year. Another company, this company from North America, particularly from USA, Entergy Corporation, another company which looks at producing annual reports, which are very, very appreciable annual reports. Theme is very good. So here they have talked about memorable lessons, practical truths. They have used the examples of fables, and if you are into those fables, if you like to remember your childhood, the way when you have got that thirsty crow story and all, how well it has been utilized. Have a look on this particular report. This is something which I quite like of. We'll move on to the next part, which is highlights. Annual report would be a 120-page, 150-page document. You are talking about a business. If you are a diversified company, you have got 5 verticals. You have got so much to share about all those verticals, you have got 120 pages. I, as an average shareholder, research suggests that an average shareholder spends only 3.5 minutes on your annual report. You, as AR Inside, collaborate for 3.5 months, burn midnight oil to produce that report. Shareholder is throwing it in 3.5 minutes time. The challenge has to be, can you tell your story in 3.5 minutes? Then there are going to be analysts who are going to be looking at those numbers, and number crunchers who are going to be diving deep and deep and deep. Highlights us present the summary picture of our business to those people who are just going to be glancing through. So here we look at business profiling. How well are we doing the business profiling? When we are looking at business profiling, this is one particular aspect where we say that we have done this particular part, we have done business profiling last year. We have been doing this particular thing for last 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. Allow me, I will be speaking with much of my experience, and I will be taking those particular examples which as and when they will be striking to me. So we talk about that we have been using this particular experience, this particular set of information for last so many years. Shall we be continuing doing this? Again, research will throw the numbers. You look at your shareholders folio. 1/3 of your shareholders, which are going to be in your annual report 2012, were not there when you were releasing your last year's annual report. Even when shareholders, majority of chunk, 2/3 is going to be there, but there are certain things which are considered to be global best practices. You have to be telling about your business in brief, who you are, has to be part of the annual report. This is considered to be the best practice, so business profiling is very important. Then you have got key figures. Here in India, we have been definitely adopting this particular thing fast. If we talk about key figures, most of our annual reports have got key figures. One area which is key events of the year, which is something there's a lot of scope for us to be improving upon and taking this particular thing forward. Segment snapshots is another aspect which we will look at in terms of highlights. How to present the highlights. How graphical can you present the highlights? I'm just showing some of these examples. So you have got the whenever at the bottom you are seeing where they have talked about the key events of the year. On the top, I have taken excerpts from Fortum's annual report when they have talked about financial numbers and all. On the right bottom, I am throwing one slide page from Volkswagen annual report 2010. Next, over here is executive message as part of. When we are looking at executive message, we look at two things. We look at substance, we look at style. I have come across, and I go back to one article which I was writing for Report Insight's second issue, wherein I was just glancing through 15-20 of the top rated annual reports, and I closely studied the executive message section. Best of the executive message which I came across, which impressed me upon, I got a sense that these executive messages have got a very, very definitive, active participation and leadership of the person who is writing. So it was not that chairman's letter was being written by somebody else. I could take you, I will recommend you that have a look on Endogy's last year's annual report, wherein the chairman has gone personal to that particular level when he said that this year my 85-year-old mother expired. And he writes about 170 words about the mother. And from there he relates that particular thing to the company. So when we talk about executive message for grading purpose, we look at what is the substance, how much of substance is there in that executive message, and second we look at what is the style. When you're talking of style, let the personality, let the persona of the person who is writing also come across. The pitch, tone, the way the person speaks, the way the person thinks, that amount of customization and personalization shall be done in doing the executive messages. In India, places we also make steel. The way AR Conclave has brought all of you together, your annual report also brings these people who speak different language together. The key to a great annual report is to find a synergistic direction and synergistic working together from where things can shape up as a great annual report. point which I brought in here was just to introduce that my background in annual report happens to be majorly in the area of communication. So when it is about creative, when it is about positioning, when it is about how to look at strategic content and how to position a particular company. On that particular area I specialize and I bring a lot of value to the table. So communication, the last point happens to be, which is my favorite. So I would look at style, design and layout. When talking about style, design and layout, there are small things which we look at how readable your annual report is. If you are doing 120 pages, we'll go into what kind of fonts are you using. Are you using a serif font, sans serif font? Are you using a lot of text which is laid out in reverse, which has got a dark background and letter is appearing as left? Are you communicating in single column format or two column format? Are you not consistent and you are using two column format where it is, and then we have got large tables and then you are going on to single column format? When you are laying it out in two column format and you have got a large long galley which is being formed, so between the columns when your text is being aligned, are you doing a left aligned format? You are doing a justified aligned format. The one mistake which I have come across when a lot of the time the designers make, just give me. When you are looking at layout, if I am throwing the text in two column format over here on the screen, the one which is justified. So you look at a balance, very nice combination of two lines which will be done. Research says apply it on yourself. The column formatted text is best left aligned, because it helps the reader read faster. Again, there is a caveat here. Newspapers, which we read and we read with so much of ease, they are used justified format when they have got 8 columns and 6 columns. What am I talking about? When I wake up every day and I find this particular thing easily readable, why am I recommending and why am I highlighting that you should be keeping your format 2 column, 3 column text left aligned? Remember the column width. The newspaper is using it in 8 columns. 1 column's width earlier days used to be 4 centimeters. Today it is reduced possibly to 3.5 centimeters only. Whereas if you are doing a book which is 16 centimeters in width, and if you are using text which is going to be 12 odd centimeters, and every column is going to be 6 centimeters, which is double than the newspaper, here the readability is going to be actually aiding. You are giving me an aid. If you have got this right, breaks are happening. So from here I can go. In literature with English you are looking at and you have got a Z. That's the way your eye moves. So these are small details in terms of read appeal, the navigation facility which you are providing. Navigation facility is like we have got one table of content which we present. Table of content, this section, this section, this section. Now, I would look at your MDA running into 16 pages, 20 pages, 24 pages. I would appreciate that within MDA, if you have got 3 broad classifications, if you are giving me a sub-content, sub-table there that you want to read economy, my economic aspect is on this particular page. If you are looking at my financial performance, financial review is going to be going on this particular page. If you are providing me when I am entering MDA, a quick navigation where I want to go to, that is considered to be a good practice, and that is definitely a good tool which you are giving to your shareholders, to your readers, to get into what they want to, what they are interested in, and then again go back to what would be of their interest as the next chapter. It is when we are coming on content, it is very important to be seeing that what gets in over what. There have to be prioritization. Annual report 100 pages, 120 pages is what we are looking at. So we would have 120 pages in which we have to completing the annual. You have got so much. If you start looking at, either you have got so much to say or you have got so little to say. When you have got so much to say, that's the situation where we shall be looking at if we are looking at doing a great annual report. I will go back to one of the earlier clients client meetings, wherein before walking into that meeting, I glanced through the annual report, previous year's annual report. When I was interacting with them and people who were at a very senior level were participating, I shared this observation with them that it looks like your CSRT is very, very enthusiastic and they have been doing some brilliant work. And they are doing so much work, that could be one possibility. Or second possibility is, other than your CSRT, other team members are not excited to participate in annual report and add value to the annual report. The client accepted that the later assumption is true because nothing else comes and CSR people are so compassionate. That is what has gotten reflected, which you rightly observed, that my last year's annual report is about 16 pages on CSR. And if you take those 16 pages out, the entire narrative session has got just 8 pages. So in terms of where do you allocate, what do you put, how much do you put, what is going to be the structure, what is going to be the flow of content, this is one particular thing which I should look at very, very carefully. The annual report shall be flowing very, very naturally. Visual ingredients. Visual ingredients, the photographs, illustrations, extensive use of graphs and charts is what makes your annual report that much more relative, that much more easy to refer to. Last part, which Shankar also finished his presentation with, the online part. Online, I endorse in the light of we being allowed in terms of all the e-shareholders. I term them e-shareholders. E-shareholders will be given the e-annual report. When e-annual reports have to be given, e-annual report could not be a PDF. You might comply. Delhi was possibly the first metro city wherein the pillion riders were. It was mandated that pillion riders have also to be wearing a helmet. When we have to be wearing a helmet, helmets were being sold on the roadside, 35 rupees. People will buy that 35 rupee helmet, put it on their head, and then they would be pillion riding. If a traffic cop is going to be stopping, we would say, here we have this cap. I am a copywriter also, and I write a fair bit of Hindi as well. So I have written a particular line which I used to be sharing with my friends, that helmet bachaye jaan, na ki chalan. If you have to be wearing helmet, don't wear helmet just to avoid chalan. You have to be wearing helmet for that extra safety. Coming back to that online initiative, if you have got 120-page book, which I am sending you as a PDF, how many of you would be reading? All of us go online. All of us, when we are searching for information, we go online. We download information. How much of information which is useful, or how much of information which we are interested in, we just read and leave, and how much information do we copy? Go back and look at any document which was 120 pages, 100 pages. You have to submit a thesis, you have to submit a report, which your bosses have convinced you on. The moment you came across 8 pages, of which 8 paragraphs were worthy, you downloaded that particular thing, studied every single page of it. Up to 8 pages you were able to do, 120 pages you will not be able to do. You look at taking the printout. When you are referring to those 8 pages also, how were you referring to? You had the PDF, you gave Control P. So the moment you are doing Control P, that paper saving and green initiative, that goes for a toss. We are back to square one. The opportunity here with us is that we have to be looking at digital annual reports. I would call it their HTML annual reports, which have to be looked at. And if from this particular stage today, I am able to inspire some of your companies to do digital annual reports, let me tell you, I have been tracking this particular space very, very passionately, very, very intensively for the last 4-5 years. This is one space wherein I have not yet come across a very, very standardized work yet happening anywhere in the world. So here we have got a chance. If we, 3-4 of the companies which would be looking at getting into this particular thing, we could be creating some benchmark which other people from other part of the world can follow. With this, my presentation will be coming to a closure. Some examples here. I would like to share with you a couple of photographs. These are from folks with an annual report. The concept here was diversity. On the cover they said diversity. There was R inserted. Now, one particular part which we are looking at on that annual report and annual reports, till date, I am tracking from the year 2003. Till date, there are 11 Indian companies which have ever made appearance on annual report and annual report. These 11 companies, the best numbers in a particular year was, I think 2009, when 7 Indian companies made it to Global 300. Last year, there are 4 companies in that particular list. The rising stature of India Inc. We have got largest number of listed companies in the world. When we are looking at the number of companies amongst the largest corporations in Forbes list, we have got 57 companies. When we are looking at list of billionaires, we have got 53 billionaires which are from India. When it is about annual report, 4 is not just the right number. 4 is not the number which we deserve. We deserve a much better number. So with the hope that whatever I have shared with you, I would like to send a message through you to India INC to arise, awake and arrive. With this, I will like to close this presentation.